Doesn't have to be too precise. I have to start there because it's quite. Missing a tiny bit of that up to the black line. As I say, you can mix powder pigments with your acrylics, which is actually quite fun. There are no hard and fast rules, to be honest. I don't really go by rules. You know, it's trial and error, make, you know, and try your own style. I'm just looking around. Actually, I can see a little dot there of blue. Right. Okay, so he's now, I've done some bits and pieces to him. What I do on the pieces I have done, I could do one final glaze all over once I've done him, which actually is probably a good idea. Or if I want to just zone in and do the odd glaze, which I'll just show you what I would do. To be honest, because it's such a large piece and I am doing work, I would probably just do the odd, actually no, I'd probably do a whole glaze. But if you are just zoning in and just doing the odd piece, so I just missed one bit, like on the head, I'll show you in a second, just miss him here, and I would just do a full glaze. Let's just add this in first. Something like this has got so many different elements and pieces to him. There we go. Right, okay, so we'll get our rustins again. And if you were glazing the whole lot, you would use your flat brush, which is what we're going to do when I do this in the next tutorial. Or you could do it on it, but I would use, let's just try him here on the back. I would just use a smallish brush, actually, not too small, something like this. This is a lovely sable brush. And I would just add a tiny bit of glaze. I'd put it onto a plate. I'm not going to mix any colour with the glaze. You could if you wanted to, if you just want to blend in, for instance. So actually, let's show you. So I could just glaze him here, or you can add a tiny bit of pigment. So for instance, we had this brown colour. So you wouldn't need much, and just add it too. You can see, and it just adds a hint of a tone, and that will blend everything in even better. And then you would just glaze, as I say, like this. I think I'll glaze all the hair so it all blends in nicely. Now, I really do like the rustins because it's waterborne. When I first started in China restoration, I was using products such as Chintex, which was so smelly and toxic. I couldn't actually, you couldn't possibly use it in your home. So whereas this, it's not too smelly. When you do any form of painting and using ceramic glaze as well, always make sure you're well ventilated, that you do have lots of windows open. As I say, it's not too smelly, but even still. So there we are. I've just done a nice little quick glaze, not too much, and you don't want to keep going over because it does dry quickly. And if you glaze and you keep going over and over, you're going to end up with stripe marks from the glaze. Whereas if you just do a few bits quite quickly, not too much, you don't want it dripping, it will just glaze nicely and it will just blend everything in, as you can see. Now I'm not going to bother with the rest because I need to still finish with the other bits and pieces, and I'll probably do one big glaze on that once I have finished the back. But I am going to start doing some bits and pieces here, some on the green. I think what I'll do is I just say, if you know, again, please subscribe if if you haven't subscribed before, and please also, if you do subscribe, you'll know when I'm uploading again, which will be very soon, actually, probably within the next week, and I will show you how to use the dreaded airbrush. And also please like. Now, if you do want to stay for another 5 minutes, because I do realise it's long, I am just going to, I think, do some of these green areas. So if you are staying for the end, that's great. If not, I'll see you in the next one. So if you have stayed for this last little bit, just looking at it, it would be nice to fill in a few little green bits and pieces. So let's see what colour we can do. Now I've got some green here. As you can see, this is chrome green. It's quite light, so it's quite a bluey green, almost like a turquoise. So let's add this green light with some blue and let's see what happens. Now we've got some blue already from where I've already used the blue, so I can just use just a hint of green, and then let's see the colour. New cocktail stick. So if you put the green, as I say, put the green onto the white plate, like so. Don't need much, it's only tiny little bits. I'm going to use again a very small brush, and then I can see we've still got some, actually I might add a tiny bit of the rustings, just a little bit more. Right, okay, let's add that with that. Let's see what colour that turns out. May have a hint of yellow to it as well. It's not looking too bad. It's quite a dark green at the moment. Let's kick it back a bit. Let's use some yellow ochre. Now this is what I'm going to show you. I'm just going to, it's a beautiful colour. I'll use it from this pot here. Let's see if that can knock it back a bit. It's quite good if you can get hold of yellow ochre. No, that's not the right colour, so let's start again. Let's go for a green and a blue. To say, it's not much, it's only just the odd little piece. I don't want to make it look too sludgy. That's right, add in bits there. See if you add a bit of red to it. No, that's not going to work. Let's just keep to the green and blue, I think, for now. Add a bit more blue. That's better colour. That's getting to the colour tone. As you can see, just needed more blue. Try it on there. That's good. So let's just tidy up these little bits here. Can you see? Doesn't take much, just a little bit, just to blend it in. It may need more pigment. Let's see that. Yeah, let's add a tiny bit more there. That's a bit more of the glaze. I don't want it to go too muddy. That's it, more of a bluey green. Just add those there. So it doesn't need much, it just needs just a hint, and I'll probably go over it again later, but this will just take away some of that colour, knock it back a bit. Still quite green, might have to add a bit more blue. Yeah, still green. Let's add a bit more blue to that. As I say, with all of these painting, you know, it all takes trial and error and lots of patience, to be honest. That's quite a good colour. Quite blue, but there we go. That's better, and go over. It's so satisfying when you get the colour. Just want to do a few dabs. Just a few there. Just want to sort of knock it back a bit. There we go. And maybe on here as well. That looks better. Blend them in there. Being careful again where you're placing your hands. Just blend that in a bit. And just a bit on this side here. Just blend that in a bit there. Well, if you stay until the end on this part, I hope you've got a nice cup of tea or something maybe even stronger, and you're nice and relaxed whilst learning, and hopefully you might be working, you know, alongside me on your own piece. So there we are. That's better. You just needed a little bit of colour tone. I will probably leave that to dry and then just give it one more coat. But he's looking kind of good. He's looking smarter than he was. So there we are. How to sort of just do filling little bits. Again, I'm going to finish off all these pieces, and what I'm going to do on the next video, I promise, is we're going to do the airbrushing on the back. So you'll see how to get rid of all these little lines here and how to blend him in. He does have other different colours in him as well. It's not a flat colour, so he's got lots of different tones, but it's a grey white with lots of bits and pieces, so that should be quite fun to do. So there we are, how to help paint on your china piece, and I hope you enjoyed this tutorial, and I will see you in the next one. Okay, bye.